So there's a special pasuk that says that we want everybody to hear about it. Everybody will hear about it, and they will be afraid. Morning, Mr. Haber. So there's a Gemara in Sanhedrin that lists. Welcome back. Good to see you. Feeling good? Back to yourself. So there are different times in the Torah where the Torah goes out of its way to say that people should hear and people will be afraid. And some of those cases are Ben Sora Moreh. One of the cases, if someone is a Ben Sora Moreh, someone has a child who was a rebellious child, and he stole and they hit the child, they punished the child, and the child didn't listen and kept on doing certain things. And the Torah said that the child should be killed. So the Torah says in such a case, everybody needs to hear about this. We make an announcement about what happened. Morning, Mr. Asby. I'm sharing some of that. We mentioned yesterday that there was an announcement, the public announcement about somebody who framed somebody else, Edom Zomim, correct? We said the Torah, every time a person does a sin and he gets malchio and he gets lashes, we don't go ahead and make an announcement. You know what? And the way the Rambam writes, the Rambam says, what's the way they make the announcement? How do you make this announcement? Well, we had in the Megillat Esther, right? In Megillat Esther, Hayom and Aleph. Megillat Esther, we found that when they made a proclamation of the king regarding the Jewish community, they made a proclamation. They sent it to every city, every state about what's going to be with the Jewish community. So here the Rambam says they would write and they would send it in every city. Every city, imagine, every Jewish city, this would be the news. This is the negative news that was said, obviously for a purpose with the Eleh. Even though you generally will learn in Parshas Mitzorah, but not, you're not allowed to speak negative about a fellow Jew. But here, there was the Eleh, there's a purpose of people to learn not to act this way. And they said, they would write and they sent it to every city. So-and-so and so-and-so framed somebody, and they were killed because of their framing, or we gave them lashes because of their framing somebody, or we punished them a certain amount of money. Let's say they framed the guy on a financial matter. We gave them that punishment, and that's because the Torah says we want everyone to hear about it. Similarly, if the Ben Sora Moreh, the child, the story with the child, and a few other cases, there's 4 cases that the Gemara says that will actually need this type of announcement. Now, okay, and it's obvious you need to write which sin did the person get killed. You don't just say the person doesn't. The announcement is not someone got killed in the court. No. We got to tell them exactly what sin the person did. Detail exactly what the sin. The guy was Mechal Shabbat, or the guy was. But here again, the case is not. We have to say what he framed. He was killed for framing, or he was. So we specify. We say he was killed for being a Ben Sora Moreh. We specify the sin that he was killed for. Because if we don't specify the sin, how are people going to know how bad framing is? How are people going to know how bad having a child who's a Ben Sora Moreh? So the point is people should listen and learn and not to follow in that way. Therefore, we have to mention the specific avera, what the court did. What was the sin that the guy did that the court gave the punishment? Again, it's not on everything that the person does. It's only a few cases that we find such a phenomenon that we make this announcement and we send to every city. Every city in the Jewish community will hear about that these guys became framed. If someone was a framer, you frame somebody, the whole world, the whole Jewish world will hear about it. That's a very good deterrent. And I think the point is not, is to make sure that people won't frame somebody. So therefore, that was that based on we said yesterday that they would announce, what did Nathan? They would announce if a person went ahead and he framed somebody, they would announce it, and he got punished, they would announce it. So the question is, when you make an announcement, right? So how do you make an announcement? You think in the Jewish community, they made an announcement in the court. That's what you would say. The court made an announcement somewhere. It's much more aggressive announcement than just having in the court. It went to every city. They sent a note to every city, and obviously they're publicizing this news to every city, everybody. Meaning, in other words, okay, now the court doesn't have the power to do such. So therefore, we can't make such announcements now. It's a good question. What we do in a case when you know someone in the community does a certain type of sin, but the Torah goes out of it. It's a good question, because today we have the courts that we have today only deal with financial matters. The Jewish courts, I mean, there's women matters also, meaning they don't deal with any type of lashes and capital punishment, but they do deal with financial. We get the Beit HaMikdash back. Therefore, we'll be able to get it. But they don't mainly deal with financial matters. So, but just interesting to note how it was publicized that every Jew should find out about this, that these witnesses were caught. And they don't get together and call them out with any kind of war. There's nothing. See again, there are 4 cases that says that you have to notify the whole Jewish community and to send, and so in most cases will not. Your question would there be the case of Edom Zomim today? If 2 guys come to court, they testify, and another 2 guys come and say, "You guys are with us." Then the court obligated a certain amount of money, and then they would make an announcement to tell the Jewish world. I'm not sure. Seemingly, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting question. I don't know what we do in such a case. It's a very good question. Okay, we are on the Mishnah on Hayam and Aleph 5a. Okay, and we welcome, like Michelle Ariel is back. 2 lines from the top. Mishal Shalem b'mamo. The Mishnah says, how do you mete out the Edom Zomim? Well, now here in general, not to, the punishment of if we have 2 witnesses, and they went ahead and they were framers, and they wanted to obligate a guy a certain amount of money, correct? So what do we say? If they want to obligate a guy a certain amount of money, we do to them what they want to do to the other guy. So if they want to obligate a guy $200, does each guy have to give $100? Or does each guy have to give $200? That's the question. Mr. Haber, the question clear? They framed the guy on $200. Nathan, you hear the case? And now the court says that you guys have to pay $200. You're responsible for $200. Is it each guy has to pay $200? Each guy was working together to frame the guy on $200. Or at the end of the day, the total that they wanted to cause a loss of $200 to the guy. So as long as the guy gets, you do to them what they wanted to do to the other guy. What they wanted to do to the other guy is that the other guy should lose $200. So what does the guy have to get back? $200. So that's how we look at it. We look at it as that the punishment should, as long as the guy received what the loss was going to happen, what the attempted loss was to him. So therefore, that you fulfilled the punishment. That fulfilled the punishment. They attempted to cause him a loss of $200. He needs to get back $200. He doesn't get 4. He doesn't receive 4. Right. He doesn't benefit the defendant, the original defendant, who now becomes the plaintiff. He turned from the defendant to the plaintiff. He was the defendant when they were framing him. Before they were called out and before they were found to be framers, he was a defendant. Now he becomes the plaintiff. Now I want to collect my money that you framed me. He only collects $200 because that's what they wanted to cause the loss to. What did it say? The total of, exactly. Now, So mishalshel b'mamo. So that means mishalshel means we divide. We divide among the witnesses the payment. The aim mishalshel b'makko, and we do not divide the makko. Meaning to say, if they wanted to obligate a guy 39 lashes, right? They said the guy, we want him not to use a razor blade on his beard. And he went ahead and he said, no, I'm going to do it anyway. And now the question is, how many lashes should we give the witnesses? So here we say we give each one 39. The Gemara is going to ask the question, why is that? But that's what the Mishnah says, and we'll look at the Gemara and we'll try to give an explanation on that. So the Gemara says the following: Ketzad, what's the case? Got it, Dr. Navid? Ketzad, what's the case? Heidu, they testify. See the word heidu, the word aid. They testify. Shuchayiv l'chaveiro masayim zuz. They testified that he owes his friend 200 zuz. That was the testimony. He owed $200 to the guy. Now, and they came out, they were found, like the word matzah. I was at a wedding last night. They read the Tanaim, matzah, isha, matzah tov. The word matzah. Found a woman, you found goodness. Nimsu zomim. You found, and they were found to be zomimim, framers. Mishal shalim, they divide beinehem. They divide among them. Aval in hidu, but if they testified, shahu chayav malku, if they testified that he's obligated lashes, malkat aboim, 40, which really means 39, vinim su'u zomimim, and they were found to be framers, kol echad ve'echad, each one lokeh aboim, each one gets 40 lashes. And the Gemara, obviously, the job of the Gemara is to explain the Mishnah. The Mishnah said a law. The Mishnah gave a case. Case, law, but then we need to know one more thing, the reason. What's the reason? What's the source for this law? So the Gemara says, Minahane mile. Now, it would seem from the Gemara's answer that what would be the more logical thing that you would say? And what do you need the pasuk to teach us? What, how, nahani mili, these words that we just said in the Mishnah, where do we know this from? Where do we know this law from? So what would you say if I would ask you? It would, the Gemara is going to bring psukim to teach us that we do not split the lashes. That's what we need psukim to teach us. It would sound like from that without the pasuk, we would say split it. They came together as a team. They wanted to obligate a guy lashes as a team. So now, what do you say? So divide it in half. So that's what you would have said, perhaps. Without the pasuk, without showing, we need to bring a pasuk to teach us we don't divide it in half. Lashes. So could we divide lashes to say, you know what? We'll split it up. Let's say there's 39 lashes, 13, if 3 witnesses came, let's split it up. We'll give them 13, 13, and 13. They wanted to obligate lashes, so do to them, and what they wanted to do to the other guy, let them split up the lashes too. Same way we're gonna. We don't. So now we need. Right, we need to have. Where's the source? That's what the Gemara is going to say. What do you say, Doctor? Menahane mile. How do we menahane mile? Where do we know these words from? So the Gemara says, Oma Abaye. Abaye says, Nathan, you got it? Oma Abaye. Nema Rosha b'chayvei malkiyo. The Torah says, the Torah identifies someone who's obligated lashes. The Torah called him a name, labeled him. What was the label? Rasha. Because Rasha means, because he intentionally, he was told, he was warned He violated what the Torah says, don't do this action, and he did it. Action-packed thing, and that person is, the Torah labels him as a Rasha. And also the Torah says about a Rasha cannot be a witness. That's why the most important one, besides the rabbi who is officiating the wedding, the most important people, and the husband and the wife, the most important people is the witnesses on the giving of the ring. Because if the witnesses are not, if any of them chas v'shalom are rishaim, they're not. The marriage is invalid, because you did not have kosher witnesses. Therefore, I had a Rabbi Sputitsky, my Rebbe, who was a nephew of the Chazon Ish. He was very particular to have, let's say, yeshiva guys, type of people like that, as boys from the yeshiva as the witnesses. But he felt that their level is they're learning in yeshiva the whole day. He felt that was the type of people that he wanted to have for the witnesses on the giving over of the ring. So the Torah says that Russia can't be a witness. The Torah labels this person a person of Russia who is obligated lashes. The Torah says, and also v'nema Rasha back in the Gemara, v'nema Rasha b'chayvei mitot bezdin. Someone who is obligated death from the court, when the court has to kill somebody, he also has a label. His label is the Torah calls him a Rasha. So again, how is the guy going to get killed from the court? He's only going to get killed from the court if he willingly violated the commandment that he's going to get killed for. He willingly desecrated the Shabbat. He was told, he was warned, he killed, or whether he killed somebody, whatever the case, the Torah says, capital punishment. He did it b'meized. Guy does something unintentionally, it's not a Rasha. It's not a wicked person. He might have something to fix. He didn't know. He should be, we don't say it's, but he's not, we don't call him a Rasha. We call him someone who should have learned and should have done, but he's not a Rasha. So the Torah says, calls a Rasha someone who's chayav mitat bezin. Now, malahala, is there such a thing as half of death? The Torah says you kill someone. You can't kill someone halfway. The only way you can kill somebody is only a complete death. You can't. There's no such thing as half of death. So malahalan emita lemersa. Over there, there's no such thing as half of death. So too, over here also, when the Torah says that you should go ahead and give lashes, there's no such thing as half lashes. Each person needs to get the full amount. Afkan ain malkut lemersa. Here also, lashes are not able to be, you don't do it in half, which means to say, even though there is a possibility, we learn off there, it's called right. Right. We can split lashes, but the teaching is that just like over there, that we know the given. What's the given by death? You can't split death. So it's the same way over, and the Torah uses, this is called the Gezerah Shava. It's one of the 13 principles that the Torah is expounded upon. What does the Gezerah Shava mean? The Torah says a word in one place, one word in one place. The Torah says another word in another place. It uses the same word. So here it uses the word in one place, like morning, Jaime.
Good morning.
Morning, like we're on Hayam and Aleph in the Mishnah, towards the top of the page. The Torah, just like on Pesach, the Torah uses the word Chamisha Asa, 15th of Nisan. And the Torah says Chamisha Asa, 15th of Tishrei, by Sukkot. So there's certain laws that we learn by the fact that Torah used the same word by both cases. It's coming also to teach us certain things. So the Gemara says the same word that's used over here, this is also coming. Now this is halacha l'Moshe Sinai. This is something that we don't expound on our own, like a kal v'chomer, we could figure logic that we could figure out on our own. This is something that we needed some tradition giving out from Moshe. Hashem told Moshe, and Moshe told Yeshua, that this idea of these two words, we just said in the Gemara, we have one word when it talks about capital punishment, the Torah calls the guy a Rasha, and the Torah calls the guy a Rasha when he gets lashes. So we learned that, and the reason why the Torah said those two words, but each place the same word, is to teach us, one of the lessons it's teaching us that they're similar. In what way they're similar? It's the same way there's no half, you can't kill a guy halfway, so too you can't split lashes. That's what the Gemara says. So the Gemara said, Jaime, if the witnesses are obligated to frame someone on lashes, they each are going to get 39 lashes. We're not going to split the lashes among the witnesses. That's what the Gemara says. So someone asked me the following question. He said, Rabbi, how could you learn the case of lashes from the case of death? They're totally different. That one, it's by death, like Mark said before. A person can only be killed all the way. There's no such thing you could fulfill a person get half of death. But when it comes to lashes, when it's possible to split, so you could, it's possible to split lashes. So maybe we should say it's different. You can't compare the apples to the oranges because one case is possible to split, one case is not possible to split. So therefore we should say it's true. When the Torah says there's a death punishment, of course that means you kill the guy all the way. You can't kill, there's no such thing as killing halfway. But when the Torah says lashes, maybe it means, maybe lashes, maybe you could split. And how could you learn something when it's not the same?
The half of lashes would not equal up to, like, two people got half of lashes, still doesn't really equal up to like one full set of lashes, right?
Okay, so now I'm going to answer your question. So if two people pay the money, is it equal?
Yeah.
So you're saying, okay, so Nathan wants to say, listen to what Nathan wants to say. Nathan wants to say, but again, is the Gemara coming from that? But again, you're saying a very good logic. Nathan says, if the two witnesses totally pay $200, each guy gives $100, it equals to the $200 they wanted to obligate the guy, right? If the two witnesses say, you owe Reuven owes Shimon $200, and then the two witnesses were found to be frameless. So we said, how do they pay the $200? Each one does not have to give $200. Each one has to give $100. Nathan says that equals up to 200. The guy got what he was attempted to pay $200. They were framing him on $200. He got his $200 back. But in the case of lashes, when they attempted to obligate him 39 lashes, if we're going to give the witnesses each a half of set of lashes, could you join the two? So Nathan says that's not called that's not called joining the two. It's not. Now explain. Now Nathan, you need to explain why is that not called.
If there's 39 witnesses, 39 they're all lying. Big deal. They go, the other one you're going on, what should the guy who's harmed? What should he receive? He shouldn't receive 400. If there was 39 witnesses again, he shouldn't receive $7,800. He should receive it's $200 that he was billed.
Exactly.
Very good. So very good. So that's we're going to see. The Gemara is going to say this idea later on. The Gemara is going to say that money could be joined in, and lashes were not able to join in. And the way you're both explaining that lashes are. The money he was supposed to. They were trying to frame him of $200. He got his $200. So it doesn't make a difference how he got it. They were tempted. To put him with $1. Why should he get 400? But Lish, what? Wait, it's too much. The doctor said they stop it, right? But the question. Right. But they have a doctor, a doctor, someone who knows, who checks them out before. No, they estimate the beginning. Yes.
So that's why they're only going to pay 200.
Total, they're going to pay 200, right?
They are going to pay the amount, right?
Right, with it, right.
So that's just for the person that we learned yesterday.
But the question, should they divide the lashes? Should they divide the lashes? Because they wanted to do to this guy.
That's nothing to do to be Zomini. They get lashes because they respect the Torah and friends. And they have to pay 200 because cash has amount.
Right, you hear what Yaron is saying? He's saying that when you pay the money, when you frame the guy, the payment, you have to pay the $200. That's what you want to test the loose. He gets $200. But the lashes, when the guy gives the lashes, the reason why he's getting the lashes is because of what? Because he violated the Torah says, don't bear false witness. But we said the Chacham say the lashes are because of kashes. Also, in the case when you wanted to obligate the guy lashes, right? So you're getting the lashes because you wanted to create the lashes to him. That's the case. If let's say you said the guy ate not kosher, right? So you want, and the Torah, and the Torah, and not you're talking about the Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza case. In that case, you would be correct. But in the case when they wanted to obligate the guy lashes because you say he ate not kosher food, the Torah says you do to the witnesses what they wanted to do to the other guy. What do you say? No, that's not the case. They want to get the case, right? If they want to get the guy lose $200, the halacha is they only pay the $200. They don't get lashes. That's Rameir who says you give both punishments. The mission is now going with the Chachamim. We give one punishment to a guy. For one violation, we give one punishment. So we're going to see more about everything what everybody said in a minute. We'll come back to what you said. But I just want to bring out a point. A Gzeira Shava, the way a Gzeira Shava works, when you have a word here and a word here, and the Torah is teaching us a lesson, they don't need to be matched. Meaning to say, even if one case it's impossible to split, and one place is possible to split. But the fact is, if the Torah tells us says this word here, calls him a Russia here, calls him a Russia there, the Torah, this Gzeira Shava is telling us to teach us a lesson, teach us something, to teach us a specific law. So even if the cases are different, and you're going to tell me, how can you learn the case of Malkut from death that you can't split, the lashes you could split? It's true. You could conceptually, if that's the word, split lashes. But the Torah is teaching you by saying this word here and this word here. It's telling us that we don't split the lashes. That's why I didn't believe the question. To me, that's the answer to the question. I saw the commentaries one of the comments give that answer. Gzeira Shava tells us that even when I said the same thing, Pesach and Sukkot are not comparable. One's Pesach, one's Sukkot. But the Torah uses that word 15th of Nisan, the 15th of the first month of Nisan, and the 15th of the 7th month Tishrei. Torah is teaching us a lesson. So too, that's what the Gemara says. So the Gemara says we have a source to teach us that we don't split lashes. That's what the Gemara says. That's the first answer of the Gemara. Comes Rava. We're in the Mishnah. Hi, we have it in the Mishnah. Where are we in the English? We're at 5A, 5A1. We're in Rava. What column is he? In 3 lines before the Mishnah, before the second Mishnah. Rava Amar. We're in the Gemara. Rava Amar Bi'inan. So here is where the discussion comes. What everybody was talking about before. Rava Amar Bi'inan kasher zamam la'asos la'achiv v'leka. Rava says Bi'inan. We need to fulfill what he wanted to do to the other guy. V'leka. The issue here is by the witnesses. If you split the lashes, you're not fulfilling what they wanted to do to the other guy. What did they wanted to do to the other guy? They wanted the other guy to receive a complete lashes. That's what they wanted the guy to do. They wanted this guy, the original defendant, when they came to court, they were framing him, and they wanted this guy to receive a full lashes. You wanted this guy to receive full lashes? So you guys, the witnesses, have to each one receive full lashes. That's what you wanted to do to that guy. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, is that clear? They wanted to create this guy to receive a full set of lashes. So we're going to do to these guys, when we have to punish, we punish what they wanted to do. What was they wanted to create for this guy? A punishment of 39 lashes. So therefore, we take the witnesses and we give each one what they wanted to do to the other guy, 39 lashes. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, by money also, we should say, let each guy pay $200. And to that, the Gemara is going to give the answer that everybody was talking about, why money is different, that we will not say that. You hear the steps of the Gemara? Let's get the steps of the Gemara again. The complicated Gemara. So we're gonna get. The Gemara says we need. The issue here is why don't we divide the Malkios? Jaime, is the question here clear? Why don't we split the lashes? The lashes we give each witness 39 lashes, right? And we don't split it. And that's what we're trying to figure out. Why don't we split the lashes? Right? We say we're going to split the money, and they don't split the lashes. That's what the Mishnah says, right? They wanted to obligate a guy $200. Each witness only has to give $100. They wanted to obligate the guy 39 lashes. Each witness has to get 39 lashes. We don't split the lashes, right? That's what the Mishnah says. And the Gemara says, exactly. That's the way Mark says, then that's what the Gemara is going to explain in a minute. Nathan, you want to say something?
Lashes, like, I know what you're saying before, that every time you get another lash, it's got or that also true, like why can't add them together.
Okay, see, you heard what Nathan just said, what the Beit Halevi says. How do you like that? Nathan, and also Levi. What did the Beit Halevi say? So he says, when you give a guy, when they wanted to get, when a person wants to obligate a guy lashes, right? Lash number 20, lash number 25 is different than lash number 24. Lash number 35 is different than lash number 21, 24, or 15, or 17, 8, 19, however you would divide it. So they wanted to cause this guy 39 lashes. And it's much stronger, 39 lashes to one person than splitting. Good morning, everybody. Boker Tov. It's much different, it's much stronger of a punishment to one person, 39 lashes, than to go ahead and to split each guy getting 19 or so lashes. It's a different story. So you're not doing to them. Nathan says, to the Beis Halevi says, lashes you can't split. You can't say give this guy 19 and give this guy 19. Because what they wanted to do to the other guy, they wanted to give this one guy, this one defendant, 39 lashes. You can say hello to your father-in-law if you want. They wanted to go ahead and give 39 lashes to one person. Nathan, that's what you're saying. So when the Torah says, here, if you want to say, you can say hello. Jaime's on.
Hayume, good morning.
Hey,
What a pleasant surprise.
good to see you, Ben.
Love you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, you look great. I already prayed 6:30.
Oh, okay. Sorry I missed you.
I'll wait for you.
So therefore, morning. So therefore, like Nathan said, therefore, you're not doing to them, you're not doing to the guys what they wanted to do to the other guy. Because if you would split it, you're not doing to them what they wanted to the other guy. They wanted to give the guy 39 lashes, one consecutive, one after the other, which is much stronger than each guy getting. That's the Beis Halevi's answer to the question. And therefore, we can't split the lashes. You hear that, Jake? Morning, Jake. You can't split the lashes because the lashes, it will not fulfill the You hear what Mark said? Mark said that the beneficiary, the guy, he got what it's true. The guy only deserves $200. They only wanted him to lose $200.
Can't get more than they want.
I don't know, like, penalty for the inconvenience.
No penalty of what? Good morning.
He's
Good
owed
morning, everybody.
200. Maybe he should get a little bit more. He went through all this for nonsense. So time.
Again, he's getting, but again, he's getting, if they framed him on $1 million, he gets $1 million. I mean, he never lost anything. I mean, at the end of the day, he's only gonna make money. The guy who was the original defendant, who was framed, he's gonna get everything, whatever the guy wanted to cause him to lose, he's gonna get that.
Someone goes to court and says, bills me $200, and then witnesses come, and they're like, they become so many. But he's still guilty.
Yes, it both could happen. It could be true. And I'll tell you the case. The case is, right. It could be true. 100%. It could be that Reuven borrowed $100 from $200 from Shimon. Could be, it's 100% true. But the problem is the witnesses, and then two witnesses come to court and say, we were there. We saw Reuven, but they weren't there. It's true that Reuven might have borrowed $200. But if you weren't there and you claim you saw it, you got to pay for what you framed them. If two other witnesses come and say, you know what, we were there. We were there. Right. Two other witnesses come and say, we were there, and nobody framed the second other pair of witnesses, then Reuven would have to pay the money. So you can have two guys paying money. Two guys could be, the witnesses, the first pair of witnesses could be paying Reuven the $200 for framing him because they weren't there. It's not about whether it happened or not. It's about whether you have the right to testify. If you come to court and you say you saw it, now what? And I think that might be the case that what happened. What happens? I trust you, Mark. And if you tell me that somebody borrowed $100 from you, I believe you. And then you come over and say, or $1 million, and say, Rabbi Friedman, I need you to testify because the guy owes the money, and there's no way I can get the money. And you know what? I wasn't right. I didn't have any documentation. I was supposed to, every loan needs documentation. I did not have documentation. And you go over to your friend and say, guys, come and testify for me. And it's the truth. He borrowed them the $100 from me. But even though it's 100% true, but if we weren't there, we testify, and we were found to be somewhere else at that time, we have to pay the money to the guy that we framed, even though it could be he owes the money. Two other guys could come and say, we were there, and then we would listen to the other two other guys as well. But it has nothing to do with us. If we were found to be framers, we have to pay.
What if the framers thought, I asked earlier, like, what if the framers thought it was, they have to actually see it firsthand?
There's no way you could testify unless you can't testify that you were. It doesn't make a difference. You're testifying that you saw the loan. When you come into court, you're saying, I saw the loan. If you weren't there, you can't say it. You can't. I'm saying to be, and again, if you're framing somebody, that means you're claiming you saw something you didn't see. And I don't care if it's true that it happened, but you have no right to testify.
Rabbi, what about in a case where both of them maybe said, oh yes, he gave me the loan, and now the person is changing their mind, is saying that he didn't give them the loan. What about that case?
Who said he
did
didn't
that make
give
sense?
The
So he gave the loan. The lender said he gave the borrower said yes before, because you are friends, so you talk among yourself, and all of a sudden the borrower changed their. It's now saying no, you didn't give me a loan. Yes, you didn't see
if you admit there's something called Hodot Baldin, when a person admits that he owes the money, that's like 100 witnesses coming and saying you owe the money. So therefore, you can't later on go ahead and switch and say, no, I don't owe you the money. You can't do that. Once you went on record, you said you owe the money. You said you borrowed the money. Now it's a different question. If you say I paid up the money, so then there's a different question. If the other guy has a document, and I say I paid it back to you. But if the lender has the document, I'm right. It's a different story. There's a different story. Okay, so that's what the Gemara says. We're going to read the Gemara inside. Very good. The Gemara is being another answer to the question. We want to know, why is it that we don't split the lashes? So Rava said an alternate approach. Because you got to do what he wanted to the other guy, and if you split it, you're not giving the guys, the witnesses, the framers, what they wanted to the other guy. We're going to use Nathan's shot, Beis Halevi's shot. because they wanted to cause the guy 39 lashes. If you split it up, it's not going to equal up to each guy getting 19. It's not the same as giving the guy 39 lashes. That they wanted to frame him 39. Money also. Why don't we split the money? So the Gemara says, "Mama mitzvah." You could join, and we're ending with this. Money, you could join the 100 and the 100 together. Malchus will mitzvah, but you can't join the lashes, as Mark said, because by the money, the guy got what they wanted. They framed him with 20. He got the $200. But by lashes, we use Nathan's shot. Giving each guy 19 is not doing to them what they want to do to the other guy. Have a great day, everybody. Beautiful. Shenema Adonai Chafetz L'Maaseh Tov, Yagdil Torah V'Yadiyah. Amen. Amen.
Man.
Have a great day, everybody. Nathan, the Beis Halevi today. Ariel, welcome back. How do you like
All right,
that?
thank you.
You're welcome. Don't forget to tell your wife you said what the Beis Halevi said. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Mr. Hamer, have a great day. Don't bear false witness. Yes. Morris, thank you very much. Every day. It's another possible mitzvah sheketecha. Don't say it.
So why we don't use that for?
The mitzvah sheketecha is stay far away from saying false, but it's not lo sase. It's not don't lie. It does say nalo, don't. It says from a false word, stay away from. So it's an assay. Right. It's inferred. Yeah, yes. Very good. Excellent.